I don't want you to be quiet. The women brought up a few issues that we want to, as men, since we are the heads of the families, we want to take that role even further and find out why do men mistreat women. But also for men who are being mistreated by women, what is going on there? What should we do to close the gap at gender-based violence? And someone hinted that in this part of the country, the rates are up. And ultimately, all over the world, there are men who still believe that whatever the man says is law. That the man has the right to sex, no matter what you say or do.
Excuse me.
Property.
It is not that it is law, but it is supreme. It is supreme.
What is that definition of supreme? What is the word?
It takes precedence. Like, because what I know is that men are meant to mean more. I repeat it, men are meant to mean more.
And women?
In a family or in a setting like this. So whatever a man says is always considered. Much as women also, much as they are reserved somehow. But the little, when they come in, they come with concrete ideas.
Right. What are some of the forms of violence that are taking place here?
No, I think they beat the women. Beating, true beating. Psychological mistreatment. You deny them. You deny what they are supposed to have.
What is that they are supposed to have?
To deny. First of all, women are taking on the roles of men. You know that if you as a man don't pay school fees and the woman is the one toiling in the market to get school fees to pay for the child, that is also sexual and gender-based violence.
Okay,
I tend to disagree with him.
You could be right, but I think you're wrong somehow. Because if you say men beat women here, that is very wrong. Women
but the women yesterday were saying
yes,
that
it's not beating,
women fight with, it's a fight.
So women are also
yes.
I also tend to disagree with him because we have on record in Lira here cases of gender-based violence where women practice it to the extent of killing their husbands.
Yes.
It is on record.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, women's problem started right during the creation. You remember what happened in the Garden of Eden? Things were not all that well. When the woman claims, it was the snake. And that was the last time I believe the snake talks. It only talks to a woman. They did not talk to somebody else again.
No, but I think
if I can give a case in point, what you are saying. Just of recent, we handled a case. A man who went to book a lodge and got in touch with the lady who was attending. And the lady is very fat and big and huge. Of course, you cannot just think you can fight because that is a woman.
Yes.
So after giving the man the room, the man entered and she had a copy of the key. So after the man was inside, he had locked himself, the woman went and opened and told the man that, shut up, do what I want. If you don't do, I will kill you.
What is that what she wanted?
She wanted sex, of course. And the man had to do it.
Right.
Afterward, he had to report, and later on, we attached him to a psychosocial center.
Right.
So, gender-based violence is not about women. It's just about having power over someone.
Essentially, men use their power rightly. But when women have power over you, I tell you.
Yesterday, we were with women and they told us why you people mistreat them. Today, we want to know why you mistreat them. We want to get it from you. Why do you get the urge to beat a woman?
Don't what cure to us men. We show our love in different ways to our women. Like me, my woman wants to be beaten. In any wrong that she has done.
She asks
that's only when she feels she's part of that family and she will reform.
Really?
And not only that, women always go out with that complaint against their husbands. But men are generally tolerant. But when you see now a man revenging, it is as a result of accumulated whatsoever. But women, they go with theirs, but men really tolerate them.
One of the things we talked about yesterday was the cultural ties here, where when a man pays bride price, It's over. It's the property of the woman, and so if a woman does something wrong, the man will say, "I paid for you, my friend. Don't joke."
Yes.
Chief.
You see, the causes of violence against women these days starts from the diversion from our cultural norms and practices. Long time ago, a man would know the woman he's going to marry very well by knowing the families, the parents, and whatever background they have. But these days we meet at universities, we meet in bars, we meet in town and so on, and you get a woman you don't know.
Yes.
So when you get finally her in the house, that is the beginning of the problem. You don't understand each other, you don't know the background of A, B, C, D, and those causes violence.
Yeah,
Becomes part of it.
I think it is basically failure to execute roles and responsibilities. It's true that a man was created first, but then if you look at Genesis, it says it's not good that men should live alone. A man should live alone. He needs a companion. So a woman is a companion. Unless we understand this concept, she's a helper. She's there, actually she's a co-worker with you. So unless we build this concept, it's bound to affect our development. A home where women are treated with a lot of fairness, development. By the way, I've realized that women are better developers than men.
Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'll have to cut you short. If you're just joining us at home, send us a text on your phone. But we had the side of the women yesterday. They had a lot to say. Today we are engaging the men. And I hope if you're at home, even in Kampala, some of you are going through this. And we are just sharing as men and some women here. Some of the violence cases that are going on against men. Let's take a look at Achilu Yimbazi, who is a communications consultant at ISIS. This is what he had to say. And when we come back, we look at ways we can help or partner with women to reduce cases of gender-based violence. Take a look at this.
Lots of times when we talk about abuse, we tend to think the immediate violence that comes around, the man beating the woman at home, but that is the most common example that we all see. But abuse can range to a number of other different aspects as well. Lots of this could be psychological. Women live in fear of what they don't know. You're living with somebody at home, and psychologically their actions, their attitude really is exerting a lot of pressure and fear upon you, and that enough is a form of violence. And it could also spread to other forms of denial, access, men refusing their wives to go for a meeting, refusing their wives to own a phone. When men are stressed, when they are unable to provide for their families or in economic difficulty, their stress levels rise and therefore react differently to different situations. Lots of this, of course, leads to battering and all forms of violence against their women. Approaches that focus at behavior change at the community level really are those that can bring about sustainable reduction in GBV. Well, you can approach it at the individual level, but at the end of the day, at the individual alone, you can't do much. It takes the whole community, the whole society coming up to stand out and pronounce or speak against GBV. Young people can be taught at community centers. Even within families, we have what we call sengas, when young people are being prepared, for example, for marriage. So lessons on how to treat each other during marriage, respect, and how to avoid violence can be embedded into all that, so that over time, communities tend to adopt certain value systems that put a lot of respect on both the woman's body and well-being, but also the man as well, so that there is mutual respect and coexistence.
Actually, Mbaz is a communications consultant at ISIS, and his views are, the man goes to the extent of denying a woman a phone. A man denies giving permission to a woman to go for a meeting. I want to focus on what are some of this, even in your community.
Yes.
What are some of the cases or the different types of violence that men inflict on women. And you can even tell us, say, a woman inflicting something on a man. What are some of the things that you have seen?
Unfaithfulness is one of them. Unfaithfulness is one of the causes of violence.
And when you look at this issue of unfaithfulness,
very common with women.
you'd find out that, you know, the Bible is very clear. When you read first letter of Paul to Corinthians, chapter 7, reading from verse 1 following, says, a woman has no control over her body except through the man. And likewise, the man also doesn't have control. So if you have this mutuality in understanding that I am what I am because my wife is there. So if she has a feeling that I should fulfill her sexual desires, it's my responsibility. You know, sometimes men fail to accomplish their responsibilities. And that's very critical.
What would make your wife leave? Because it's very common with women. What would make your wife leave you and go and get another man?
If you are really fulfilling
Failure to assess and meet the needs. We all have our needs. Like what he has said. I have my sexual needs, okay?
Yes.
But a woman also has a need to be loved. So if I need the sex, which is my need, I need to honor the need of a woman to be loved.
In our community here, one biggest contributor is over drinking. You find that a man drinks and going back home shouting, "Akelo kape anwe kelo jamedu kwena link jamedu," meaning calling his wife by her surname. Akelo, if I don't find all these on table and even your body here, you will see me today. That is the kind of thing that bring us a lot of problems. And secondly, I've been hearing this among young men of his age and
Not any.
that because of this aspect of family planning things, where you go to health unit, they inject you or they put, women do not have the sexual desire now, and whenever a man wants to have sex with her, she will always resist. If she is giving in, then after doing a lot of scratching her body, denials, and you find that, like for in a month, a man will have an opportunity to have sex with his wife like 2 times, and which is not so healthy to that man. It will force this man to start hating his wife and thereafter go out. You see, in a family where there is no love, there is that sexual gender-based violence. Because if I just come home and say, okay, my wife is so stupid, is so dumb, I just come and keep quiet, that is a violence. That is sexual gender. Yes.
Sometimes
just withdrawing and keeping quiet. That is
sometimes
the way
our
they,
behavior also put the women off.
Yeah.
Because when you come home, you must give her a conducive environment for her also to feel
that is
that she also would like to have sex with you.
What have you seen in this community?
But me, what I have seen, what I believe is overstretching women. Women have been overstretched. Men have abdicated from their roles. And I think that one has also escalated gender-based violence. First of all, they are talking about the sexual desires, but there is that also the economic part. They don't contribute what they are supposed to contribute, and now they have left it to the woman.
I just want to add something. You know, part of the exhaustion, you know, brings about overworking, brings about stress. But we've learned something in what we call psychopathology, where you find stress is very, very destructive, especially when you come to your own activity, even sexual activity. You are too tired, too exhausted. You have left some of the work undone. You begin to think about it. Now you go to bed. The whole system has fallen. Even on men.
I want to believe that the women are not the only ones being violated. How are the women violating you, the men?
As he said earlier on, women are even killing men these days. You come back exhausted from shop or looking for money to pay your children in school, and the woman, in her own way of thinking, maybe thinks you're not just giving money for your children to go back to school. And while you're sleeping, thinking of how you'll get money tomorrow, you will find your head shattered. They will just eat you, by the way. These women are traumatized. They no longer need this dialogue and the rest. If the dialogue is not materializing, not bringing something tangible, what else should they do? They are now beating and killing, of course.
I wanted to because one of the things that has been fronted is the effects of the LRA war.
Yes.
Please explain to me how that has also caused whether women or men.
You know, when people came to the camp, it was upon the husband to go out and look for something to maintain the family. And in most cases, you would find a woman is left at home.
Yes.
And there are some people who are there to, try to do something to them. And when the man comes back, she has no more interest in whatever he's saying. Sometimes he comes empty-handed, and she will blame him for what she has not been able to do. And that always causes a man a sort of frustration, and he would like to do it now on the beating of the woman. And in most cases, unfaithfulness is actually the source of the major violence here in our place here.